Welcome to Ethics in Sport at Dordt University. Um, I'm very excited to teach this class. I know that many of you have probably some experience as teachers, and you kind of know how it goes. That some classes are just more fun to teach than others, and this is a class that I really enjoy. Some of the reasons why I like teaching this class. One reason is that I think it's a really valuable class for a coach, an administrator, and a teacher. So, really, whatever your role is, I think that this class is going to be really applicable to what you do. Um, I think it's really going to help you explore what you think about ethics and how it relates to your coaching or your teaching or your role as an administrator. I know that for myself, before I ever taught this class, I really didn't put a specific or intentional, I guess I might say, amount of thought into the role that ethics played in my coaching. But since I've taught this course, it really has made me reflect and think about the things that I do as a coach and the role that my ethics play in those roles. And so I hope that that will be the case for you as well. I think also there's really practical implications um, from a Christian perspective and how your faith uh, takes a role in how you operate with athletics. Again, whether that's a coach, or a teacher or an administrator. And so, um, again, just the practical application um, that it can have for you in your role, in your professional roles, I think is something that is really of interest to me and is really what makes this class a fun class to teach. And, many of these topics are not easy to grapple with. So there's often some pretty good discussion in this class. And um, I do think, and you're going to see this come out um, in some of the things that I say and some of the things that I post. I really think that as Christians, um, we have an advantage when it comes to ethics and how that affects what we do. I think sometimes probably Christian coaches, especially, are are probably better at the theory rather than the practice. So that's something I think we all have to really grapple with also. Um, and we're not going to get into that practical application specifically in this class. We're going to deal more with the theory, but um, I think it's interesting also to note, and this is the third time that I've taught this class, and the third time around, it's interesting to also see culturally where some of the ethical hot button issues are. But if you take something um, like the transgender issues that we're seeing in athletics in recent years, what's really interesting to me is that sport is often at the forefront in our culture. Also, when it comes to I think our culture grappling with ethical issues, and I think we'll probably have some interesting and good discussions related to some of those topics in this course as well. Just by way of introduction, I also wanted to say just a few things. The main mode we're going to use in this course to spur our discussion is going to be readings, and a lot of those readings will come from the textbook. Um, and um, what I would say to you about the text is, I think overall, the readings in the text are philosophical, and not necessarily light, but most of them at the end of the day are pretty readable. There are a few that I would say are not necessarily very readable. But what I would encourage you to do is to do your best reading these. There certainly are probably a couple of the readings where you might wade through and you might have to reread. And at some point, you might just have to say, look, I gave this a great try, but I'm maybe just going to throw in the towel. But I think on the whole, you're going to be able to glean some pretty good stuff from these. They certainly are not written from a Christian perspective. So that is definitely something that I think as you read through, um, you will notice, and also hopefully you'll be able to make some observations about that, and how the approach to ethics is definitely different when you don't have a Christian perspective. But I do think that these readings will really provide you with the opportunity to apply your Christian perspective, um, and really allow you to wrestle with some of the moral concepts. And so, yeah, I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't do the readings or that they're not worthwhile. I think they are definitely. And like I said, this is the third time going through this text. Um, this text has not been updated for a few years, so it's the same one I've used the last two times that I've taught the course. But I definitely reread through all of them each time I teach the class, and I find new and interesting things every time I read them. They're just really packed with a lot of information and things to think about. And by no means do I think we're going to hit on every aspect of every reading. There's just way too much in them. But there's really good things, I think, that my hope is, and my goal for this course really is that it will get you to think and to evaluate your own ethics and in your approach to that, and how you might teach it to athletes and students, and how also you might use it in a leadership role um, to lead whoever and in whatever capacity you do that. Um, so yeah, the discussion posts are going to be a big part of the class. I encourage you to put your initial posts up as soon as you can in the week. The weeks will generally be, the modules are generally 1 week. There's a few of them that are 2 weeks, and then you'll feel a little bit more relaxed on those for sure. But on the 1 week modules, try to have your initial posts up by Friday. We'll try to have responses to those posts wrapped up by the following Monday, and then we can move on to the next topic. So that will kind of be the goal. And as I do indicate in writing on the Canvas page, um, I'm, I haven't done this in the past, but I definitely want to try to do at least a few times throughout the semester, that we'll do a Zoom discussion and kind of go away from the discussion board, because it can get a little bit redundant, and and I don't want to, I guess I want to try to keep it fresh as much as I can. And that's something that we miss out a little bit in the online courses. But I think all of us got a little more familiar with Zoom through COVID. And I think that can work. And it will probably be a situation where, maybe we can't get every single person each time, but we'll do the best that we can, and try to have some Zoom slash face to face, to some extent, discussions um, that might give us a little different angle also. So yeah, looking forward to it, and we will see you on the discussion board and maybe on some Zoom calls.